September 27th.
All right, so they're trying to establish the fact that Trump's activities were impeachable. I'm joined by Miles Kristen of Wisconsin International Radio. He's coming to us from Madison, Wisconsin. Miles, thank you so much. Really appreciate the fact that you're able to find some time for us today.
Oh, not a problem.
Paint me a picture of what's going on right now, as far as this hearing is going.
There's definitely been a lot said by Republicans about that this impeachment inquiry and so forth is not being done in an open and transparent manner. I can definitely see that the Democrats want to do a lot of this behind closed-door testimony. And you know, anything that's going on like this should be open and public, just like, you know, what we have down here is C-SPAN, and it should be on, everything should be in the public domain.
So what is Trump supposed to have done that warrants him being booted out of office?
Well, I mean, what he's accused of is a quid pro quo, which I think every president is guilty of those kind of things. You know, the whole thing is about him asking the Ukrainian prime minister to investigate into former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and was there some sort of money being promised to Ukraine, which, you know, the United States, in my opinion, should not be giving, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars away to Ukraine to begin with. But that's, you know, what this whole thing is about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and Trump, and what he said.
Okay, so Trump is alleged to have pressured the Ukraine government to find dirt on Biden, who up until recently was the front runner, or maybe is remaining the front runner in the race to wave the Democrat Party banner going into the 2020 election. So it's about finding dirt, just like Hillary Clinton used the Russians and the Brits, I guess, to try and find dirt on Trump. We know that Clinton paid what, $6 million for the Steele dossier.
Yeah, and you know, it's so insane. She just gave an interview to BBC where she basically hinted that she might actually run for president, and I do think she's actually that delusional. She might run for president again.
And on top of all this, the madness is you have Hunter Biden getting $50,000 a month from the Ukrainian government, I guess, or no, a Ukrainian oil company, I'm sorry, which is associated with government. I'm not sure how much in bed they are, but here you have this giant Ukrainian energy company paying Hunter Biden $50,000 a month, a guy who knows next to nothing about Ukraine or the energy industry. And it was clearly intended to gain access to what was then, at the time, I guess, the U.S. administration under Obama. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, if you really want to talk about illegal stuff that happened in Ukraine, look back to 2014 and those leaked phone calls from the State Department, where you hear people in our State Department talking about putting really, really bad people into power to oversee Ukraine. I mean, there's some really corrupt stuff that happened under the Obama administration. I'm not defending Trump at all. I don't know what he did or did not do, but there's a lot of horrible stuff that Obama's administration did with Ukraine, including, you know, of course, Vice President Biden.
Yeah, including having Joe Biden saying that his administration wanted a certain prosecuting attorney in the Ukraine fired, and if it didn't happen, that they were not going to release somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion in aid to Ukraine. I mean, do I hear correctly? I mean, so, and by the way, that prosecutor that Biden wanted fired was looking into potential corruption involving Hunter Biden, so his own son.
Yeah.
I mean,
as an American taxpayer, I don't understand why either administration is giving away hundreds of millions or even billions of our tax dollars to these, especially to these sort of situations, foreign governments.
And yet it's happening. But in the midst of, all right, paint me a picture in terms of how much danger is the president in here? I mean, is it possible that, in fact, he will be impeached? Because, of course, they do have the numbers in the House of Representatives. They do not have the numbers in the Senate, and they need, what, a 2/3 majority in the Senate in order to actually have a sitting president booted out of office, correct?
Yeah, you would need 67 senators. The Republicans currently have the Senate by a few votes. So you would essentially need 20 Republicans to turn on Trump. I could see 3 or 4 or 5, but not 20.
Well, yeah, guys like Mitt Romney, right, who just, I don't know what the hell his problem is. I mean,
Mitt Romney, potentially Mike Lee, maybe Lindsey Graham. I mean, there are a handful of Republicans that don't like Trump in the Senate, but not going to be 20, you know?
Man, I don't know what happened with Mike Lee. He was one of those hardcore constitutionalists, and all of a sudden he's just like a never-Trumper? Weird.
Well, I mean, I'm a libertarian, so I mean, you know, I'm not in the Trump camp. I'm definitely not a Democrat, but you know, you're just looking at this race that's going on down here for the president, the Democratic primary, and they're going to pick probably the worst candidate that they can, and they're going to repeat all the same mistakes of 2016 all over again.
And so, how's before I let you go, how's Trump's base holding up? How is his level of support? Does it look like he's still going to be the man to beat going into 2020?
Oh, he'll definitely has no problems coming up with his primary. The only person really running against him, giving him a primary, is this guy named Bill Weld, who was the governor of Massachusetts. He was the Libertarian vice presidential candidate of 2016. He's actually quite hated within the Libertarian Party. So Trump will definitely be the nominee of the Republican Party, but the real question is, who are the Democrats going to go with? And their strongest candidate is a woman by the name of Tulsi Gabbard, and yet she's getting the most resistance from that party. Yeah,
well, she's a patriot. She's was in the military. She's a loyal American, and I don't see her winning. I mean, I thought that Elizabeth Warren was the one who was the person to beat at this point. Is she still?
The thing is, Tulsi is this non-interventionalist who actually could get non-Democrat voters behind her. And so the media in the United States, the politicians, Hillary Clinton, everybody's going after her, giving her the most vicious attacks.
I know.
And it's just funny. They're going to go with somebody like Warren or Biden or maybe even Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City. He just entered the race, and it's a crazy mess.
Or Hillary, a rematch. Can you imagine? Craziness. Thank you so much, Miles. Really appreciate this.
No problem.
Miles Kristen from Wisconsin International Radio.